Welcome to a Better Way podcast. I'm super excited to have one of Canopy's great LOs joining the show today, Eric Nearing, who owns and operates Bigfoot Mortgage, powered by Canopy, of course. Super excited to have you on the show today. Thanks for being willing to come, Eric.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kay.
Awesome. So, one of my favorite questions, because I feel like this is a unique industry. Oftentimes, I feel like the mortgage industry finds you, you don't find it. So, I don't know the answer to this question. So, I'm going to ask you right out of the gate how did you get into the business?
Oh, geez. I graduated in the booming job market of 2010. 2009, graduating from BYU econ degree, starting salary was like 70,000. 2010, it was 29, if you could find something. So I started working for a drop ship company in Utah called Doba, and they'd laid off a couple of hundred people the month before I got hired. After 2 months, I was on a sales team of 25 people. I was one of two that was earning more than hourly, and it wasn't much. With a wife and a kid, not a great position. Um, I went and met with HR to say, hey, obviously I know how to do this. What's my opportunity? They started laughing at me. I was like, what did I miss? They said, well, we laid off a couple hundred people the month before you got hired. I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Got a call from Enterprise Rent a Car, and they said, "We know you weren't interested, but we'd like to tell you how you can earn six figures within 3 years' time if you do what we tell you to do." So like, all right, six figures sounds like where I want to get to. How do I do that? Right. So stayed in Utah for a year with Enterprise, got promoted, transferred to Tennessee to be closer to family. And when I did that, I got promoted a couple of times. I talked to somebody that was in the figure position, and he had told me that he had received a phone call at 11:30 at night, managing between like 140 and 200 employees. He got a phone call at 11:30 at night, did not answer the phone. At 7 a.m., he was brought in the regional vice president's office to be screamed at for not being available 24 hours a day for employees. And so I realized that the secure position was never really secure, and that it was not a long-term solution for my predicament. And so I decided to start looking at other opportunities. And I had a coworker who had met somebody who owned a small mortgage brokerage and said, I think you might want to meet him. So I met him. I was like, I don't know. Um, at the end of the day, I realized that I could basically try to continue to climb a corporate ladder, or I could build my own. And I decided to bet on myself. And I went into mortgages. I was handed a computer and a notepad and said, go make money. So I worked for a small mortgage brokerage. I helped troubleshoot and build out systems and processes for that brokerage for, was it 8 years? COVID hit. I actually had a couple deals with United Wholesale Mortgage that they could not fund. When COVID hit, they were like, sorry, there's no money for people that are correspondent lenders. We'll close the broker deals, but the correspondents are going to have to wait. Largest wholesale lender in the country couldn't fund their mortgages. That terrified me. Um, although I was, so our branch was producing about 100 million that year, was on track to hit about 100 million. I was responsible for a little less than 25% of it on a team of, I want to say 12. And I had one third of one assistant. And I was really frustrated because I was working a lot. My family situation was super tough, and I was working a lot, and I wanted to be able to produce more. And so I was approached by another mortgage company that were like, we think we can solve all your problems. And, being in a lot of pain and not having a lot of time, they called me on the right day. I didn't do my due diligence, and I took it. And so I wanted to make it work I'm giving you just the full background, but I wanted to make it work with them for a while. I liked the ownership, but the process was terrible. in order to get stuff through is basically a full-time job just to babysit, make sure everybody else does what they should do anyway. And so I would stay with them for a little while. I kept telling them what I was frustrated with. They kept not listening. And my I went through a series of employees that I made some bad hires. I was not the best at training at the time, and what ended up being just me again by myself. And I hired somebody, finally got somebody that was really good. She started September of 23, and in October of 23, she told me she was pregnant. So she felt pretty confident about her abilities, and she also knew me well enough to know that I was very loyal to her very quickly because she was great, which is fine. I'm pro babies, but that put me in a difficult position. I was like, there's no way that I'm going to do this again with this company by myself. So it forced me in a position where I actually needed to find somewhere else to hang my hat. And so I opened the door to recruiters. And when you do that, 1,000 people fall through.
Floodgates open, right?
Yeah.
Here comes
Floodgates
the recruiters.
open. Yeah. Way too many phone calls, way too many people, but it was necessary for the process. Um, Yeah, and that's somebody had mentioned offhand, had mentioned when they presented to me, and I think a recruiter had presented a number of companies to me, and I wasn't satisfied with any of them after doing my background with them. And they had mentioned offhand Canopy. So I looked online, I saw some videos. Like, I don't know. I talked to Josh. It's like, I don't know, because everybody tells you what you want to hear, right? What's your pain? Oh, I've got that fixed for you, right?
Yep.
Didn't
Or
matter
we've
what
got
it
the best
was.
tech out there, right? That's
We've
like
got
the
the
common.
best tech. We have the best support. We'll give you more of all of everything that you ask for. We can make all your wildest dreams come true, right? Selling to, it's Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite selling to me every time I talk to him, right? Some of them are sleazy. Some of them seem good. Some of them seem genuine, but everybody had different levels of frustration. Talking to Josh, really like him, very straightforward. He undersold it big time. I told that to him as well. I think I've told you that as well, McKay. It's hard to describe how much better it is at Canopy. So I'm just going to let you ask questions, and I guess we'll go from there. But how I got into mortgages, the short version of the long story is I realized I could either bet on myself or try to climb a corporate ladder. And I would prefer to bet on myself, and it's worked out all right.
That's one thing I absolutely love about hearing stories is, especially within our industry, is I look at each mortgage loan officer as really their own unique entrepreneur that wants to build something great. And one of the unique things that I think you've got, Eric, I remember the first time I heard it. I kind of chuckled inside. Is your name? And for those out there, I would love to hear, like, how do you come up with Bigfoot Mortgage of all things, and why?
Oh, geez. Okay, so Google, what is Google? Right? Apple, what is Apple? Amazon, what is Amazon? Right? There's a place that is now out of business, at least here in Knoxville, called Honest Auto. I was never going to go there. Right? There's Integrity Mortgage. There's Aspire. Like you can throw any name in front of something. What does it actually mean? Absolutely nothing. And my assistant really hated the name Bigfoot, and I kind of wanted to prove her wrong. That was part of it. The other thing about it was I actually started talking to some of my past clients. And I had one client specifically that told me Bigfoot is perfect. I asked her why she said that. And she said, because I didn't believe that people like you existed until I got to know you. I was like, so that the other thing that's kind of cool with it is it's fairly ubiquitous. People do my marketing for me. So I'll have realtors and clients and other people send me screenshots of like Bigfoot pictures and stuff that they see in the wild. And that's kind of cool. So,
Eric and his team is an awesome follow on social media. You guys do super creative and fun things. Like you you did pictures with Bigfoot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Christmas with Bigfoot. So we had past clients and a few realtors stop by with their families and take pictures. It They turned out pretty nice and it was pretty fun. That was good.
Love it. Love the creative marketing mind that you possess, and I also love that part of it was like, hey, I want to prove you wrong. That's hungry. I love that. So, one question that I've got for you. What do you feel something unique that you and your team does, Eric, that sets you apart from any other average Joe out there giving and lending money?
So I'm glad you asked that because this was part of my transition away from the initial company I started with. So there's a book called The Go Giver by Bob Berg. I don't know if you guys have ever read it or heard of it, but if you haven't, you owe it to yourself to read it. It's an excellent it's an excellent philosophy. I believe that it is adequate for life and specifically business. So if you focus on what you're providing instead of what you're receiving, you will always have more than what you need. It's the way that I try to lead my life, the way that I've tried to lead my life. And as I've done that, I've never faulted for what I needed.
Love that. And it is a phenomenal book. I actually had my dentist about a year and a half ago. He and I, for whatever reason, with all the stuff in your mouth and they're asking questions and half the time you can't even talk. But he said, hey, a book you should read is Go Giver, and absolutely phenomenal read. So for those of you listening, definitely check it out. Endorsed by Eric and myself. Phenomenal book. And it really is about providing. And it's interesting. I think this is just one of those laws that works. If you provide something of value, oftentimes it just naturally comes back to you. And if you're motivated the right way to help individuals, good things happen as a result of that. It's true. So I love that's part of why you do what you do and what you offer uniquely. So very cool. So my question is, and this is a question I often get and love to ask the boots on the ground individuals like yourself, where do you feel this market is headed in 2025 and beyond the next few years? You hear all these rumors, AI is going to come in and take over the world, and there won't even be loan officers 3 years from now. All the wild and crazy things. But from your perspective, where is mortgage lending going, and when are rates going to get better?
So when are rates going to get better? Well, if you knew the answer to that, McKay, we wouldn't be on this phone call, right? So um, I have a lot to say as far as what I think about rates and the economy and all the rest of it. But what I will say is that people need homes. That will always be a thing, right? People are getting married, they're getting divorced, they're moving for work. People are being born, people are dying. As a result of it, there will always be a need for lending. Now, is AI going to replace lending? Absolutely, some of it. If all you're focused on, if you're an order taker, your days are numbered. All right. And we all know because we also utilize tools for order takers. You have to offer something more, right? If all you do is take orders, then you either need to change or you need to look for something else to do because you will be replaced. Um, as far as, rates and things like that go, if I was to have a crystal ball and predict what was going to happen or what I actually want to happen, it would be that Trump and Elon are successful in gutting significantly the government. And as a result, we go into a recession. We go into a recession, rates will come down, and then we're going to have a boom. Like, I mean, it'll be ridiculous. It doesn't have to go down into the fours, the threes, the twos. You get into the fives, and it's going to be nuts. Um, yeah. Okay. Well, there were a number of questions you put. Did I answer them all? Okay. So that's my hope as far as rates and stuff go. When is that going to happen? I mean, really, if either of us knew exactly when that was going to happen, neither of us would need to be on this phone call. We'd be set for generations.
Yeah, we'd be sipping lemonade somewhere on a beach doing day trading,
Yes.
right? So,
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that, and I also agree with the fact that, like, at the end of the day, the whole AI part of things. Look, I remember going to a conference nearly 8 years ago, and I've been in the industry almost 20 years now. Um, and I remember going and learning about blockchain, and at the time it was relatively new, at least to me. And they're like, "Look, within 5 years, you're going to be able to get a mortgage within 4 hours." Because blockchain will essentially remove all the obstacles. And it's funny now, 8 years later, I feel like we're no closer to getting a mortgage in 4 hours than we were 8 years ago. And so I agree with you. You have to embrace AI. You have to embrace the technology. But at the end of the day, this in most cases, this is the largest investment that individuals will make is their home, right? And I feel like that human connection, that human interaction that you do so well, AI can't replace that, and can't replace the trust that's involved in that transaction.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's you focus on the need of the person, not the need of yourself, and you will solve problems. And oftentimes that will involve real estate. Sometimes not. But if you're focused on the person, you will always make a positive impact. And if you do that, then people want to take your call and people want to be your friend. And those that don't are people that you don't want to associate with anyway.
Love it. My last question. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you're a very busy guy, but where do you see Bigfoot going from here? What are your goals?
Grandiose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's your big vision?
So, um, this year we started off really slow. This is my fault. Personal life things, and there's always going to be personal life things, but um, I think we're going to have a really good year. Um, what I see for Bigfoot is I want to be the number one lender in our market. I want to be the number one lender. Like we're talking how far out are we going, right? If we go 5 years, I want to be the number
Give me
one in the
your
market.
BHAGs, baby. Your big,
Uh,
hairy, audacious goals. I
okay,
love to
so
hear it.
what I would say, within 5 years, I want to be the biggest one in our market. Within 10 years, the biggest one in the region, um, and who knows from there. But Canopy is for anybody listening, anybody that wonders. Canopy actually delivers. The only, and I've shared this with McKay, so you can edit this later if you want to, McKay. But I'll bears repeating. In so much as the leadership remains in place and none of them go crazy, there's not a better place for you to build a business if you know how to run it.
Love that. And you're exactly right. Part of how our model would eventually break down, and it's good. We're getting big enough that the rumor mill has started up, and you hear some really funny rumors about Canopy. But one of the things that we have to remain committed to is finding individuals like the Eric Nearings of the world that know how to run their business and plug in right alongside us. And we look at you more as a partner and less of a employer-employee relationship. And I just want to say thank you so much for taking a chance on us and for continuing to grow and be the awesome individual that you are and leader that you are, Eric. And I know that Bigfoot will do amazing things over the next coming years, and I'm excited to grow right there alongside you. So thanks for being willing to come on the show. He's Eric Nearing. Check him out, Bigfoot Mortgage. Eric, anything else you want to share before we wrap this up?
I mean, just anybody that's considering Canopy, what I would say the difference maker that I did if you're shopping, call call LOs that you find that are with the company and ask them what the best thing is about the company and what's one thing they would change. I will say I called 27 people at Canopy, only one person had anything negative to say. And it was clear when they complained about Nano that they had never done Encompass or Calyx.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
You just gave me chills, the warm fuzzies here, Eric.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
absolutely. I mean, truthfully, you guys should be everywhere. There's, I'm not overselling. I'm not selling anything to you. I'm telling you legitimately, I don't know that you guys appreciate how much better you are.
Thanks. That means the world. And the cool news is, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like the perfect recruiting waters right now, but it's been absolutely insane how many individuals have been coming over just this in this Q1, like more than any of us could have imagined. So I think we have the right medicine for the disease that's out there right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, really, you guys get to the heart of it, which is there's so many levels of people you get paid between you and your money, and they dictate how you spend your money at every level. And it's just like, if you know how to run your business, you know how to run your business. Not everybody, but a lot of people are all self-generate. Like, there's so many people that are self-generating. Why are you giving all your money to somebody else?
Love it. Well, you're the man. Congrats on the new house. And thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.